What's up, comic fans? And it's time for that new comic book day haul plus reviews. So we're going to get into the books that came out this week. Plus, we got those 50 centers, and we're going to do it all right after this.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Welcome back. All right, let's get into those books. First off, we're going to start off with those 50 centers. I've been trying to do like little themes here and there, so trying to keep books that are similar. So this week we have DC Comics Presents, and this is, and I gotta put these in some backboards, but this is DC Presents number 28, Superman and Supergirl, together against the menace called Mongul. This is the second appearance of Mongul. But can even the galaxy's two greatest superstars hope to survive against the power of villainy most terrible weapon, War World? All right, and then up top is this extra. Whatever happened to Johnny Thunder, Lawman? This is a 50 center. This is also has a the first appearance of a character named Reservoir. No idea who that is, but you do have the second appearance of Mongol. And then on the back, you've got an ad for Dingo with O.J. Simpson. All right, so that's pretty cool. Put that off to the side. All right, next up on the list, we have DC Comics Presents Superman and Metamorpho, the Element Man. This is issue number 40. All right. Anybody try to rescue Sapphire, Java kill him with Orb of Ra. Your threats won't stop Superman. Save your energy, Soupsy. This is a job for Metamorpho. Superhero update. Whatever happened to the original Airwave? All right, so this is issue number 40. This also has the death of Airwave. So apparently Airwave dies in this. All right. Poor Airwave. All right, next up, we got DC Comics Presents. This is issue number 46. And this is the first Global Guardians in DC continuity or mainstream. All right, 8 superheroes versus 8 supernatural villains in a battle royale around the world. You have the Seraph, Green Fury, Rising Sun, the Olympian, Little Mermaid, and Jack-O-Lantern. Superman and the Global Guardians. All right. And last but not least, we have Superman and the Atom. DC Comics Presents Superman and the Atom. This is issue number 51. And this is supposed to have a 14-page preview of He-Man, right? Of Masters of the Universe. And there were 14-ish comics that came out with this preview, but this was one of the first ones. So there, if you open it up, there's a 14-page preview right inside the book. So that's cool. And this one has an ad for Frogger on the back. So yeah, my plan is to, try to clean these up a little bit. They're not in bad shape, honestly, and I should get them in a bag and board. Maybe a little dirty, but we cleaned those up, and those will be some nice-looking DC Presents comics. So those were the 50 centers. Now, let's get into the comics that came out this week. All right, first off, we got Ghost Rider number 20. This also has a story guest starring the Spirit Rider. I haven't read Ghost Rider since I think issue 17, so I don't have that one. So then that's the big one that popped, right? With the Wolverine Ghost Rider character. So I don't know. I read somewhere that there might be a love child of Ghost Rider in there, so we'll see. This was interesting. Peach Momoko's Star Wars Visions. There's absolutely no words in this. It is a story. Basically, the followers of Anak are doing some bad stuff to people. There's a character that goes out to stop them. They have a yellow lightsaber. They stab the bad guy in the background. Stuff happens. They team up. I don't know. There's no words. It was a picture book. It was interesting. It was interesting to see that type of storytelling. So if you're not used to that type of storytelling, I can see where it gets confusing. But check it out. It was pretty cool. Art was pretty nice. All right, next up we have Star Wars Dark Droids Dr. Aphra number 38. Dr. Aphra is on a mission to save her friend. Forget her name now, but she's part cyborg. So as you can imagine, the robots have taken her hostage, right? They have infiltrated her mind. Dr. Aphra manages to hack into her brain to see what's happening, sees what's going on with, everything becoming one, all the robots, functioning off of one mind, if you will, one hive mind. And she's kind of figuring it out. All right. It's a good issue. Check it out. If you haven't been reading Dark Droids, it's across all the books. You can kind of get an idea what's happening in Dark Droids without reading all the books. So that's cool. Just each book is tied into it in its own separate way. All right. Next up, we got Superior Spider-Man number 1. They should have called it Spider-Boy Revisits Superior Spider-Man. A lot of Spider-Boy in here. A lot of regular Spider-Man. It's a case of mistaken identity, if you will. All right. I believe the main villain in this is Supernova. She was created by the original, Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock. Well, the only Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock. She gets free, and now she thinks Spider-Man is the Superior Spider-Man, but that's the Amazing Spider-Man, all right? Different Spider-Man. Maybe she'll figure it out. Maybe she won't. Doc Ock's kind of watching it like, yeah, get him. And then at the end of this, Doc Ock does figure out, because he forgot, right? Because his mind was kind of, I don't want to say erased, but it didn't remember his time really as Superior Spider-Man. He's just putting it back together. But he never knew his identity, and he just figured out that he was Peter Parker during that time. Interesting book. Good entry into the series. We'll see where it goes. We'll see. I'll stick with it because I do love the Superior Spider-Man. Next up, The Immortal Thor, number 4. All right. I'm trying to think of the villain's name. Tyrannos, who is like the OG god of thunder, right? This guy is an old world god who's like huge, big as the sky, right? Blots it out. 10 times bigger than Thor. The Odin Force doesn't really work on this guy. This guy is just all powerful, all encompassing, right? He was Thor before Thor was Thor, but with more power, like just a bigger god. Locked away because he was dangerous, finally gets out, and now Thor's got to fight him. But Thor can't do it alone, so what does Thor do? He recruits Beta Ray Bill, Loki, Sif, not Sif, what's her name? Yeah, Valkyrie. There we go. And Storm, right? And they all get a taste. They all get to hold the hammer. They all kind of get their Thor powers. Basically, the way Thor says it, you got 30 seconds to be Thor. Let's kick some butt. And that's kind of where it ends with the Thor Force. Just kind of getting ready to fight this uber OG god. All right, last but not least from Marvel, we have Daredevil number 3. All right, Phil Urich is spitting some venom about Daredevil's or Matt's, right? His father Matt now, he's taking care of an orphanage, and he's trying to say how this orphanage is promoting crime with the kids who are there. As we all know, Matt Murdock, that's not his deal. That's not how he operates. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He also, starts busting heads, trying to figure out what is behind all of this. And it leads to him finding out that Bullseye is kind of pulling some strings. Very interesting. So Bullseye's making a comeback in the Daredevil series. And it's a pretty good series. And they've been having John Romita Jr. do the covers. So I think that's kind of like because his dad used to do Daredevil, right? So it's kind of like their way of saying, thank you for what your dad did, and here, do these Daredevil covers. Pretty cool. All right, we're switching gears. We're at DC now. We have Detective Comics. All right, this is 1077. Excuse me, Ron V doing the work. The covers have been pretty cool for this series. I think so, right? I always forget who the cover artist is on these now, and I don't know the signature, so we're not even going to venture to try to find out. But Detective Comics has been really, really good. In this one, you still have Catwoman putting together like this heist, right? Or they're basically going to save Batman. He's got 3 days before he gets hung, public hanging. Nobody is going to stop it, not even the police force, apparently, right? This is something that, however, right, it's been done. It's been done in a way that like everybody's just going to let it happen. That's kind of how it's explained. Is like the overall zeitgeist of the population has been controlled in such a way that they're going to allow this public hanging of the Batman. All right, so craziness. But anyway, Catwoman puts together a crew, right? Like one of these heist crews. 1076 actually did it in a really cool way. It was like straight up out of the movies. But yeah, puts together a crew to save the Batman. So that's kind of what's happening here. And we're going to see, Catwoman does come face to face with Batman, tells him he's going to save him. We do see what roles some of the crew plays in all of this. All right. Commissioner Gordon is part of this, and they bring in one crazy Batman villain. I won't give it away. I'll let that just marinate and chill for a little bit. And they do have also on their team, I let this one go, Solomon Grundy. They're going to try to incorporate him into the team, all right? Backup story is pretty cool too. Check it out. Next up, we got Dawn of DC, The Outsiders. Really good book. Like the writing, like the artwork. We have a first appearance of a character in here. Again, I'm so bad with names. Forgot this name. But yeah, it's really good. It's got it looks like there's going to be an alien joining the team. Read the book. Find out what's happening in there. It's really good. That's all I can say. It might be a little confusing, but good art, good writing, good book. I think somebody, maybe it was Mark over at Legion of Comics, said that this book was kind of the closest. It was pretty close to like an indie book, and I kind of agree with that assessment. It's got that vibe to it. So, and the guys who worked on it, they've worked on indie books before, so good stuff. All right, next up from DC, and probably the last book from DC, and by probably I mean the last book from DC that we're discussing today, is Danger Street, number 11, the penultimate issue, right? The issue before all other issues end. And let's just say Lady Cop, don't call her that, she hates it. Ooh, she does some stuff in here, but she's a pro, and she recovers. But there's some stuff, questionable stuff. She does it in order to save people. People die. Not the first issue where people died, but people die in this. And people might come back from the dead. People are healing. Anyway, overall, a lot of people coming together. We find out who has the heart of a champion, right? Like who has the heart of a hero in this. I feel like that's kind of what was one of the things being tossed around in here, right? It's like when all the chips are down, you may not be in the Justice League, but can you be a Justice Leaguer? And what makes somebody a superhero or part of the Justice League, right? So you have to actually be a Justice Leaguer to do great things. I don't know. Anyway, Danger Street, number 11. Check it out. Good series. I'd wait for that to come out in trade. I'm pretty sure they already have the first half of it out. You could probably wait and get like the whole thing together. They'll probably do a hardbound first, which will cost a little bit more money, and then you'll get the soft trade. All right, next up, we have Animal Pound Ashcan, number 1. This is the one per store. So this is the Virgin cover. Yeah, found it at the shop. the shop owner was like, "Where'd you find that?" I was like, "On the shelf." And he's like, "I thought that was lost." And I was like, "Nope, it was on the shelf." So I found it. Again, this is the one per store. I read it. It's good. You know what? Um, Read up about it online, right? Because you'll find out it's all based on a short story, and now Tom King is going to expand on it using these, the animals from the Animal Pound. So good stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's called Animal Pound. That's what I keep calling it. But and this is again, this is an indie book, by the way. It's from Boom Studios. Yep, and it's Animal Pound. And I pulled the backboard out, so we're just going to fix that after the video's over. All right, next up, we got Spawn 347. A lot of times I say there's not a bad Spawn cover. This isn't a bad Spawn cover. It's just not what I expect. There's some detail in it. It's cool, but it is what it is. What happens in here? Spawn. The last issue, they found out that Spawn's plan was not only to stop, Sin from taking over Hell, but also to sit on the throne. And the rest of the group doesn't really like that. Spawn kind of takes the team with her because Javi, Gunslinger Spawn, has been captured, and they're like, we're going to go save our teammate. So Spawn's kind of on his own now. No backup, which has always kind of been how it's worked. And at the end, there is a character that's kind of like the whole catalyst for why Spawn is who he is. And she is looking for Spawn. And so Wanda looks like coming back. Sorry if that was a big spoiler. If you're a Spawn fan and you haven't got up to this book yet, don't worry. It's just a minor kind of cameo. She doesn't play a major role in the book yet, but as you can guess, this is a major drop, and it's going to be, it's going to affect Spawn in some major ways. So, again, because Spawn wouldn't be Spawn if what happened to Wanda, it never happens, his wife getting murdered. So. All right, let's move on to a book that seems to have a lot of legs these days. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen some sales of this book. All right, we have The Deviant #1 from Image. James Tynion IV is, pumping out books, and people are really responding to it. He's got some legs these days. It's properties or hot commodities, right? Something's Killing the Children is technically, being developed. So maybe even being filmed at this point. I haven't really checked the trades to see what's happening there. But you have The Deviant. And this is like... Also, I picked up this postcard at the shop, and I want to say this was a cover. I don't know what it was, like a 150 or something like that. But basically, this story is about a guy, not really a reporter. He's a writer, a comic book writer, who's gone to visit a guy in jail who's been accused of sleeping with young boys who worked at a Santa, photo display at the mall. But not only that, then like murdered them, right? And the guy's in jail. And so we kind of jump back and forth into what happened in the past and what's going on now and what happened in the past. And at the end, obviously the guy is still in jail. We're in the future, and now somebody's going to get murdered by this same guy who's murdering people back in the 70s, I want to say. It was the first time, and I believe it was in Milwaukee. So, yeah. The guy who was, accused of murder, obviously, it looks like he's not the culprit, and there is somebody out there who is. And what is this being that's killing everybody, all right? And there is a big discussion about sexuality in here, gender role, queer culture. It's a mind bomb. All right, it's a good book. It's not for the faint of heart or those who just want a superhero punch you in the face thing. This is like a psychological thriller. Maybe I don't want to say it's like a police thriller or something like that, because not really. But it definitely is. It messes with your mind. All right. It's a little mind screwy. So, The Deviant, check it out. It's actually, I think it's a really good book. This might win some awards. I don't know. It's only issue 1, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But I thought it was a good first entry. All right. So, comic fans, all right, do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to get ready for this week's books. I'm going to go back to The Deviant real quick, all right? You got a comic book writer who's decided, like, not to write superhero books, right? Because they want to try something different. And, I don't know. James Tynion, maybe it's a little bit in his head, a little bit autobiographical, maybe he's just being a little autobiographical here. I don't know, just something I'm thinking about. Anyway, comic fans, again, do what you do. Get ready for next week's books. Thank you for joining me. If you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and go ahead and throw me a thumbs up. Comment down below. Peace. Your boy here was nominated for the CBC Awards. So if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and get out and vote. And throw this guy here a vote, all right? So with that said, I'm out of here. Thanks for joining me. All right, let's get into the comics. So rewind. I picked up some ratio variants, and we're gonna get it. What's up, comic fans, and it's time for that new comic book talk. What's up, comic fam? Ooh. What's up, comic fans? I gotta turn off the fan. What's up? Plus review, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go. Couple comics.